Hi, it's Mark at FBA2USA. Come to FBA2USA.com for hints and tips getting started on Amazon Seller Central if you live outside the USA, or if your products are outside the USA. I mention this second point because I've had a few people now asking me the question about whether or not they can just source their products inside the USA to avoid US customs and problems with US customs. It's an interesting question, and of course the answer is yes, you can. You can get your product from anywhere you want, but if your product's coming from inside the USA, then you're seriously limiting the amount of manufactured products that you can actually access. The USA is still a large manufacturing area, but usually for quite high-tech goods or high-value goods, and not usually the sorts of goods that sell for between $20 and $60, which is the kind of target retail price that most Amazon sellers would target when they're starting out. So if you're buying a product that you want to sell for $40, you don't really want to be paying much more than $6 for the packed product per item at its source, because by the time you've got it to the marketplace, you actually end up finding that you're really spending probably a lot more than that getting it shipped to where you want to sell it from, and then having it ready in that marketplace with all the advertising costs and so on, and just listing costs that you will experience when you're starting. So if you can't get your product for something like $6, then you're not going to be making a very profitable channel within Amazon. And if you haven't got a very profitable channel, then that means you have to sell a whole load of stuff before you can actually make any kind of income that you can take home. There's no point in selling 6 figures worth of revenue if you're only making $10,000 profit in it, because that's a lot of work for not a lot of return. So, coming back to the first question, can you get your product from inside the USA? Well, yes, you can, but you probably, if your only reason for doing that is to avoid US customs, you're probably going about it the wrong way. Starting selling on Amazon is not about doing things that are easy. Starting selling on Amazon is actually relatively hard, and that's a good thing, because if it's relatively hard, lots of people will not do it. When I say it's relatively hard, there's just a series of steps that you have to undertake. You have to source the product, you have to take a risk on getting your supplier to send it to you from wherever they're sending it. You have to spend time and effort thinking about what it's going to look like, how you're going to market it. You're going to take a cash outlay of several $1,000s usually before you actually have a shop that's actually got stock in it ready to sell to people. So it's not easy. It's not the kind of thing you would do with your last $1,000. It's definitely for people that are having a discretionary secondary source of income, or who are already marketing their product in other channels and just looking for an additional channel to sell it on. So don't think about choosing your product just so you can avoid US customs. US customs is not that hard. In fact, if you ship your product by air with FedEx or UPS or DHL, chances are they're going to take care of US customs for you. And if they don't take care of it for you, you just have to make a phone call, find out what the bill is, and get it paid on your first shipment. Because the worst thing that can happen usually is that it gets held up, and you will get notified as soon as it's held up. It's not a huge cost, and to be honest, the additional steps you need to take to smooth the process are something that you don't really need to do until your business is already at a reasonable scale. So I say again, don't necessarily choose a product that's in the USA just because it's in the USA. It's probably the wrong mindset to get started selling on Amazon Seller Central. Think of the best product that people are most likely to want to buy from you, and a product that you can describe why they should buy it from you. Start with that, find it wherever it's cheapest, and get it started on Amazon Seller Central. If you want hints and tips on how to do that efficiently and avoid all the mistakes that is possible to make along the way, come to FBA2USA.com and sign up for the monthly membership at only $49 a month so far. Cheers.